Days are shorter. The winds are coming in from the north, but man, do I love me some Mando. Like I think that's the only holiday magic that I'm getting this year. I'll see like all of two family members, but I'll see the most important family member of all, which is Grogu. Grogu Mandalorian. I've decided his last name is Mandalorian.
Grogu who?
Grogu Mandalorian.
Grogu Skywalker.
Hi, my name is Mr. Mandalorian. Pleased to meet you. Grogu actually is my first name. My friends call me Hey Kid.
We're good with. I mean, are we ready to move on from Yodito? I'm not sure if I am.
I mean, R.I.P. Odito. I mean, he has a name now.
Nah, yeah, it's Yodito.
I get it. Like it's kind of like a quit trying to make fetch happen thing, though. Al, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Yodito.
All right, you can go. You guys, I'm not going to yuck anybody's yums. If you want to go Yodito, go for it.
Go ahead and yuck my yums. I don't care.
I'll yuck anybody's yums. So hey, listen, Cannonballs, it's your boys, it's your Cannon Boys, it's Nick Oswald here. You're listening to Loose Cannon's Ride the Blurrg Chapter 14, where we talk about the Mandalorian Chapter 14. With me, as always, or sometimes, or never, is Alex Lowe.
Hey, yeah, I don't have anything witty to say. Move on.
Perfect. Thanks for being honest. And then also producer Chris Higgins.
Hey guys, I was surprised that Al didn't at least remark on the fantastic intro you did this time, Nick.
Excuse me, but we fucking nailed it.
Yeah, the language. We got little Yoditos about.
Oh, great. Now we have to redo.
Oh, okay. All right. Start over. So, hey, Canon persons. It's your Canon persons as well. We've flat
persons is a bit speciesist.
Yeah, true.
Thank you.
We have a flattened our hierarchy here, so you are just as much as the boss of this podcast. And by what I say you, I mean you, the listener. So you can take it offline if you need to. I gave everybody permissions. If you go into the Discord and you hit a certain command, it cancels our entire podcast. I set it up that way. Did you know Discord can do that?
Before we kind of get into things, I just wanted to say that I am very upset that I was fired abruptly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what are you doing here?
All right, but you're on contract work, which pays better.
And, I just want to say I had a little bit too much blue milk the other weekend and, just couldn't really recover. I know that I'm pretty sure Stormtrooper, he put something in my blue milk.
He said he came to your house or you came to his house, which is, I was thinking, okay, what's going on there? And
yeah.
Then this happens.
Yeah. So he's not here and I am, so take that for what you will.
I'm taking that for as much as I will. All right. So we've got chapter 14, the tragedy. So right away, you're like, oh no. At least that was me. I said it audibly, oh no, because we start off with this really cute moment where he calls him Grogu, which is offensive to some of our ears because it's not Yodito, and he gets a little giggle, and then he calls him Grogu again and he gets a little giggle, and it's adorable. And then we get the tragedy. It's like, okay, so who's this going to be about then? Who's the tragic moment?
And that brings us to our annoyingly cute for the sake of being cute moment. Not the giggles this time. That didn't bug me as much as in the jetpack or while jetpacking when he goes, "Yee."
So it went from ears flapping to making noise now. That was the part that you don't like.
Yeah. And that noise wasn't needed. It was just so people would be like, Grogu.
What about the purring?
How fans sound.
At the very beginning, he kind of purrs a little bit.
Or how cute is he when he lays down to nap after using all his power?
It's funny because Moff Gideon is sort of laying into the cuteness effect because he doesn't just say it makes him tired. He goes, but it makes you oh so sleepy.
Yeah.
You could have said it any other way, and he's obviously saying it the cute way.
Well, he's also saying it to mock him. And so I'm Team Moff Gideon here.
You want to mock the baby because you're like, hopefully this baby will be less gratuitously cute if I make fun of it. That's what I usually do with children.
Yeah. People always like showing me pictures of their kids. They all look the same.
I don't want to shame them for their children like that.
I've never once seen a cute child, and I think that's a good thing.
Did you think he was cute when he was force choking multiple stormtroopers at once? I did.
Oh, that was kind of cute.
That was adorable. Because as we've said before, if you're wearing a stormtrooper outfit, there we can do anything we want to you.
Who voices the stormtroopers? Because
I'm
it's the same
guessing-
voice for everyone ever, right? Other than like the one time Sudeikis played a stormtrooper.
I'm guessing it is some variations of crew members, but you have to have a SAG card if you have a speaking role. So
Oh no, I'm getting at. I think the same person has voiced every stormtrooper since 1970s.
Oh yeah, and it's like someone with somewhat of a mid-Atlantic type of cadence with it. It's like, get off of me, scamp! Oh, you idiot! Keep going. Like,
So you
hear that today?
You start mid-Atlantic, but then that was what you said. But the accent you go with was much more 1930s newscaster.
That's mid-Atlantic.
I do say,
sir. I say, you idiot! You're not shooting at the right place.
Well, put your dukes up. That's not what I'm hearing.
Is this the first time we've heard a stormtrooper call another stormtrooper an idiot?
I haven't been keeping track. I cannot confirm or deny your question. I'm sorry.
I guess so. But okay, let's get in order. I'm not going to jump around too much. But I want to say this is a great episode. I was super into it. Very hype in a way that I was not hype last week, but still enjoyed last week. But let's go a little bit in order. I think it's not only is the dad play kind of adorable from our Mando friend, but also he is a certain kind of dad that wants to understand what you're into, but can't really get it, and then tries to talk about it. So he's like trying to get Jedi stuff, and he doesn't really quite know what's happening when the ball gets recalled from his hand, but boy, is he excited when you succeed. And then says, I can't train you like the nice lady tells. So it sounds exactly like your kid has violin lessons, and then you're listening to him be terrible at violin. And you're like, well, at least the nice lady is helping.
That was nice.
It was nice. I really did. I can identify with, what I'm going to be like as a dad when my kids are playing like virtual reality stuff in their brains, and I'm not going to understand any of it.
It's like when you tell your dad, I'm trying to be the best podcaster I can be. And he's like, what?
He's like, good job, son. What's the money in it? And then I tell him, and then he gets really sad.
Yes.
So I'm just a simple man trying to make my way through the galaxy.
Are you?
Yeah. Much like our friend, The Return, and it's confirmed. It's not a clone. It's Mr. Fett himself, back from the dead.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. He ain't dead, guys. So I don't think anybody really thought he was a clone, or at least Tamara Morrison was playing a clone, but confirmed. Not a clone. He's driving a Slave One. I don't know. Did you guys get giddy seeing that thing?
It's a pretty cool ship.
I mean, it was probably one of my favorite non-rebel ships growing up. So it was nice to see.
I like the sound effect that it makes. It's like it's kind of barely working.
I'm confused about it.
How so?
So like it's flying all up, and then when it lands all down. So how do people not tip over? Yeah, but you know what I mean? How do people not tip over?
I think we covered this, Alex, in our Boba Fett episode, which was 5 years ago.
Throwback.
6 years ago,
5 years ago. I may have talked about it and I don't remember.
I think it might have been like our third or fourth episode or something. It's about Boba Fett, where we really hate on Boba Fett. We are not a pro Boba podcast at all. Still happy to see him. Still pretty hyped, in my opinion. I am. But I think we cover that the Slave One cockpit sort of rotates in there. Although it does do kind of an awkward motion where it's flying forward. He's facing forward. He then pivots and then backs into a spot. So it's almost like you're going forward, and then you do a quick 180 and then fall down face up, which I think probably what happens at that point. If you're going to back into it with the Slave One, you probably are hitting a landing button and you're like, all right, I'm landing there, hit button. And then I think it just parks it for you. That's the impression that I get.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first, folks. That's how the Slave One lands. It's like just those really fancy SUVs where you push the button and it parallel parks for you.
I buy it.
So,
All right, thanks for clearing that up.
$1 million question that has yet to be answered. We can speculate here, and now is our time to speculate. How did Boba Fett get out of the Sarlacc? Think back 6 years ago, Alex. What did we? What in Legends? Because this isn't canon right now. In Legends, how does Boba get out of the Sarlacc?
I don't know. Gosh,
Well,
that's
actually,
so long ago.
Yeah, 6 years is forever ago.
A long time ago.
So actually, and again, this is all legends, so we don't know if this is the case. But everyone who falls in the Sarlacc pit gets a psychic connection with the Sarlacc. So when you're in there, like you kind of join a group consciousness, and I don't think it happens right away. It's obviously over time, and supposedly you're being digested for 10,000 years in there. But he gained a little bit of a psychic connection with the Sarlacc and everybody else in it, and he convinced or slightly influenced one of the tentacle arms to ignite his jetpack, and then he jetpacked out of there.
That was a pretty chill of that tentacle.
Yeah, pretty chill to hit my button, right? So I wonder if he had to kind of like force, hide his intentions. He's like, hey, I got an itch on my jetpack.
Help a brother out.
Oh man, I know. So hey, collective consciousness. I know we're not supposed to move our arms. I get it. I know, silly me. But I've noticed I got like a really, really itchy jetpack. Oh, don't worry what a jetpack is. It's like a part of my back. Anyway, so could you, right here, like right over there, like it's been killing me for about 3 weeks. A little up, further up. Okay, thanks. Aha, sucker.
Man.
So then again, did he feel kind of bad? Because like on his way out, he's also, he's a part of the Sarlacc, so he's probably partly disappointed. And if this is going to be canon, let's say, it's kind of an off the wall thing, like physiology of a Sarlacc pit is kind of weird. Is this going to be a canon thing where he has like some psychic nightmares about being connected and being separated from the Sarlacc?
I hope for some Sarlacc, like night terrors. I hope we can get that in an episode.
There's also another legend, which I can't remember where exactly, and we can look up on the Wikipedia and whatnot, where exactly this is all covered, but there's several stories of Boba Fett getting out. And there was also a Sarlacc cancer that he had to treat for the rest of his life and had to amputate a leg or two because of it. So this doesn't appear to be the case right here.
Did Boba Fett ever interact with Yoda?
Not in canon, no.
Do you think he ever saw Yoda or like knew that Yoda existed?
Maybe, because he did have it out for Jedi.
What if this entire series is just Boba Fett's dream while inside the Sarlacc?
He's like, well, I met the baby here. This is why we need Patrick back, so he can do Australian accents or New Zealand accents. Like, well, having a dream. There's a baby Yoda here. Isn't that weird?
Isn't that kind of weird?
Guess I'll help get it back.
Think about it. A Mandalorian who never takes off his helmet so we don't see his face.
So he could be anyone.
Kind of seems like Boba. Dreaming.
So now let's bring it back. We're loose cannoning. Let's tight cannon it. What Boba says, and this is in reference to our favorite Summer Shandy, because that's what I used to call her. But Fennec Shand, back from the dead. Armando says, I left you for dead, or I saw you, you were dead. And then he said, just like me, where I was left for dead, but sometimes fate has, fate has
a way of tickling your dick.
Oh, it's a way of fate has a way of tickling your jetpack. He makes it sound like someone happened upon him the same way that he happened upon her. So it might not necessarily be that we're going to get a canon version of the jetpack ejecting him. But
maybe it was Darth Maul when he fell down the reactor shaft. He went into the
30
Sarlacc.
years later, just ends up in a Sarlacc.
Mm-hmm. That's where the reactor shaft goes.
Just ends in a Sarlacc. You just teleport there.
Yeah.
So very cryptic, but we still, it's a story for another day, how in canon terms he got out of the Sarlacc.
Man.
Or we just make it up.
Yep. You're getting some serious Zam Wessel vibes out of Fennec Shand. Do you guys see that?
Sam Wessel?
Zam Wessel. Do you guys know who that is?
I don't.
That is the bounty hunter from episode 2 that gives the poison worms to, I almost said Leia, to Padme.
Oh, yeah. I just Googled,
You know,
so.
she's a shapeshifter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the way she has the helmet set up and kind of her whole like sharpshooter look to her looks a lot like what Fennec Shand is set up to.
Yeah, I kind of get those vibes. No
Yeah.
shapeshifter abilities, but
No.
now she's got a new stomach.
New tum tum. So robot guts. Would you, if you could, have robot guts? This will be a poll on Twitter later. Would you have robot guts? Say no thanks. No, please, sir, no robot guts.
I would love robot guts.
Yeah, because
Like right now in my current life, you wouldn't have to worry about digestive issues. You wouldn't have to worry about getting stabbed there. I'm all for it. Because those are my two big concerns in day-to-day life is digestive issues and getting stabbed.
You know, around the holidays, wouldn't it be nice to have robot guts?
Mm-hmm.
You could eat anything and you could say, oh, don't store as fat. Like,
I could get back to drinking milk.
Imagine you have like a little iPad app or something that regulates your robot guts, and you could go, you turn the dial from store fat from 10 down to 0. It's like, yeah, no, don't store fat.
Yeah.
And then you look to your manufacturer to go, Boba, why is this even an option? Why can't I like who chooses to store fat?
I would love that.
Anyway, I will only take. I'll put this up, but I will only take the robot guts if it turns off my acid reflux.
Yeah.
Or or might it be worse with robot guts?
Well, the acid would be worse, but I think it'd be easier to control the reflux. So like, you know, as it exists, you have to take Tums, or like if it's bad, you go on a 14-day dose of Prilosec or something, and you know, you're not sure if it's a.
You get your iPad app and you turn down the acid.
Yeah. And just like cut it off, you know. I'm all for it.
Yeah. Okay. All right, $1 million question. You knew it was coming. What are the poops like?
I bet you don't even have to have them.
Why? Well, you got to have some output, right?
Not necessarily. What if it allowed your body to operate at 100% efficiency?
So it's like those cars that use hydrogen but then exhale water.
Mm-hmm. But not even water. Just don't exhale anything. Everything in is used. We're going the ultimate zero waste. Waste. That's a pun.
There's a art exhibit. I can't remember if he's French or German or Dutch or something. There's a guy that made a poop machine.
Okay.
At an art exhibit, and it makes like real deal poop, like a very close proximity to what the human poop is like. So I imagine this is like a poop machine, and I imagine the poops are pretty simple.
This would be a nice excerpt out of our episode, just the last like 2 minutes.
You know, I think we need to have a full length episode about poop because we talked about vac tubes in season 1 and how like I think it's one of the first references of taking a dump with the mithril. It's like, wow, you definitely don't want to be around when I take a dump. You should probably let me go poop. And he's like, doesn't talk, like, obviously, because he's thinking about, man, that's going to be a gross poop. And then so he contemplates for a while, man, how stinky is this crap going to be? And then instead he just freezes the guy.
I would do a lot to avoid that.
To having a gross poop?
To avoid being around his gross poop.
Yeah, he that's why he wasn't saying anything out loud. Like, you know, oh, I'm a brooding bounty hunter. What do I do?
Like, that sounds nasty, though.
I don't want to smell that. I don't have any matches anymore, man. Okay, Frozen. See ya. It wasn't all about if he gets away. It's all about whether or not he poops or not.
That's what it's all about at the end.
Yep. So now that we've talked enough about poop,
whole episode, we need it. Pooping in the galaxy.
We'll get to it. Once
we mentioned a little bit about life in the Millennium Falcon because they do have a vac tube in there, and you take a dump in there somewhere.
Makes sense. Got to spend a lot of time in there in hyperdrive.
I mean, nature calls. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
All right. Overall, don't get me wrong. I really did like this episode, and we're gonna get to some hype and some cool things happening. But like, is this like, what's the deal with Star Wars and honor debts and codes that make no sense?
What's the deal with Star Wars and
What's
honor
the
debts?
deal with the life debts? I don't get it. You got a life? I got a debt. I owe you for my life. Come on, be real.
I mean, I think it's just lazy writing, and I think that's what I've been harping on for a while. But we're coming back to like, there's no realistic circumstance where he's telling them, "Hey, you don't have to go chase this guy down," and they would be like, "Our debt is not paid," and then the woman nods, and they carry on. It was just like, come on, stop being so damn stilted.
So one, they don't even agree to anything. So it's not like our titular Mando says, yeah, sure, because the troop transport comes down and they all scatter right as about they were going to talk about this. And I got to imagine in his brain, Mando's like, yeah, I'm not giving that armor up. And so they fight. They have the hapless stormtroopers, which I'll talk about in a second. But then our dear friend Boba sees that he left the door open, and he just goes and runs in, and how rude, just takes the armor. So in my mind, Mando didn't agree to anything, nor did he like say, go in and grab it. But Boba grabs it on his own, but is still indebted to Mando for some reason.
Also, can I pick a nit with the fact they didn't talk about it?
Talk about what?
They were like about to talk about the deal, and then all the people come.
Well, this is exactly the nit I'm picking.
Yeah, but let me pick a nit about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're in a standoff, guns pointed. All right, you can't have a proper discussion while you got guns pointed at yourselves. All right, we'll agree to put down the guns. Oh, but Mando, you also have to take off that jetpack, even though it's not going to do any damage to people, because that way, when the kid gets stolen, you can't chase him down, and we're going to have more episodes.
Does he get the jetpack back at the end? Like, he goes and picks it up, right?
I don't know, but
I don't think that's on camera.
I'm sure he does. But
you could fast forward to when he gets to Navarro to talk to Cara Dune. You could maybe see it there, but I guess I didn't realize, did he go pick it up? Because it didn't get blown up in the blast.
Yeah.
No, but it's just the ridiculous thing of like the only reason they had him take off the jetpack was so he couldn't chase down the jetpacking dark troopers.
Yep, it's exactly it.
What if he had said to Cara Dune, "Hey, we have a big problem. We got to hunt down the jetpack."
We are stealing your debt until you get your jetpack.
We got to break the rules this time, Cara, because the jetpack is gone. And then her face is like this, like.
Are you sure? Just the jetpack? Okay.
Where's the kid? Oh, yeah.
So that you bring up a good point, Al. That whole little part is clunky. It's McClunky because we're looking up at future Zam Wessel. Oh yeah, I don't miss. I'm gonna kill your baby, and it's like, oh, don't kill my baby. And then they're like, all right, let me put my gun down while you're still pointing at my baby. Then now I'll take my jetpack off, and then like I don't know, the metrics and the transaction just didn't quite match up there.
And Boba never even said put down your guns. He said remove your jetpack.
Yeah, he's like, you can still point the gun at me. Just take that damn jetpack off because
I don't want you running away from us.
Is the jetpack a weapon too, though? Does it have a rocket on it? Not like Boba's?
Does it?
I mean, you could burn someone, but no, it doesn't have a rocket on it.
Yeah.
Okay, because Boba's does.
Yeah, I think you need to have the drop-down visor.
And also, if anyone would know if it had a weapon, it would be Boba.
This is true.
I mean, there's all sorts of jetpacks. Who knows how many jetpack providers there are in the galaxy?
New episode.
It's a hot market. Huh? Free market jetpack. It is not a galaxy regulated industry.
Wow, I had no idea.
Huh. Yeah. Free market jetpack. No regulations. So, okay, we have a no deal or like a barely deal, but is this just showing that Boba's kind of a good guy? Like, okay, well, I suppose I'll take this armor from your car, even though you told me not to, and I'll still owe you, even though I technically stole this from you.
I mean, he's a bounty hunter, and he has ties to the Mandalorian culture because of his father. So I feel like obligations and honor are a big deal for them. And he may not be a person that like you may not be like a good guy, but sometimes even people that are bad, they have they have certain morals that they stick to. Like if I say I'm going to do something, like I'm going to do it, and that's kind of my thing.
I'm a man of my word.
I'm a man of my word.
Man of my word. Yeah, it's like the Joker. He did what he said he was going to do.
Yeah,
But
doesn't
what he
mean that.
said was ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's how I took it. I know it was kind of like it seems like sloppy writing, and it is a little bit like how people are. The speed of these shows, the way they want to be expedient, they're always like making people agree to doing things very quickly, just through like one sentence of dialogue. And all right, you've convinced me. I'll do this for you.
Yeah, and our own Mando has some difficult connections with some creeds and not others, because of course he's not supposed to ask about bounties. But then again, there is a little bit of a hierarchy, because maybe foundlings are the biggest thing, like foundlings above everything, and bounty deals are secondary to that. So since Yoda is technically a foundling, but sort of a baby that he stole, like he has more of an obligation to take care of this baby than he does to uphold the creeds, which also sets in motion his entire covert of buddies is dead too. So there's a lot of debts and obligations and I don't know, good guyishness that's coming up, that's going to come to pasture pretty soon.
Well, and like it's okay to be on board with some of those creeds and not the others, but it's weird because you would think like the oldest creeds would be the most important ones. Like we can all admit that Human Clay is a good album, but none of us are going to listen to Full Circle. Like, usually older creeds are better, but not here.
It's right. Like I want to listen to Arms Wide Open. Not, and I can't. I would have no idea what.
Yeah, I don't know a single song off their newer albums.
Yeah,
I just know one was called Full Circle.
Full Circle,
which did in fact not bring Creed fandom full circle.
It did not, and then they broke up, and then Alter Bridge happened after that. So.
Yeah, and this is the most Creed we've talked about on this podcast.
Perfect.
Already exceeded
once
our Creed
again
quota
for this year at least. Once again. The question that goes around the internet: what is Stormtrooper armor for? It's not for anything. Don't use it anymore.
It's to signal that it's okay to kill them.
I guess.
Yeah. These shots are very glancing, and they're dead.
This metal stick can just run havoc and literally like crack skulls through a helmet and hurt enough on a breastplate. They don't deflect shots. They probably are just cumbersome and slow you down. So why wear them?
Do we know what Stormtrooper armor is made of?
An old man with a stick.
Do we know
it's like plastoid or plasticoid or something like that?
Yeah, so I'm looking at it. It's a distinctive white plastoid body armor over a sealed black body glove.
Yeah.
It's a complete set of 18 pieces. 18 pieces. That's a lot of work to put on.
Yeah, and so it's again cumbersome, and it doesn't do you any good.
And they're supposed to be elite. I think Stormtroopers are technically supposed to be an elite force.
Yeah, supposedly.
So part of the point of the armor, not from a defensive standpoint, but it's the I think the appearance is a big part of it. The fact they all look the same and come rushing in, it's like a demoralizing look. You think about like those old videos of the Nazis marching. And like how many of them are marching totally in sync, like that would freak me out.
Mm-hmm.
So like the fact they all look the same and come charging out would freak me out until I realized that, if I pick up this pebble and throw it towards them, I'm going to kill 6 of them.
And they might trip over each other, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what the armor's for. It's for intimidation only. It's much like an ATST or an AT-AT, or honestly, it's much like a lot of any Imperial strategy is just look intimidating in numbers, but be ineffective.
All right. This information I'm reading is crap. It's saying the forearm portions are enough to intercept vibro blades, that a slug thrower would be almost impossible to kill a stormtrooper with.
Yeah. Just kidding.
Tell that to the Ewoks.
But a gaffy stick goes right through.
Yeah.
You have a slingshot and a 3-foot person, and you can take one down.
Yeah.
Maybe a stick. They had like wooden sticks just beating over the head. They're like, oh my God, stop the pain.
And we have the highlight, the absolute highlight of Stormtrooper dumbness is the guy with the Gatling gun that turns to the boulder and just tries shooting it.
That was so
you take 3 steps to the left and you're fine.
And he had a good 5 seconds to do it. Like he's turns, is still watching the boulder. I'm going to shoot this boulder when I could have just ran like 5 steps to the side.
He's like, I have my orders. I'm not backing down.
I'm going to get this boulder even if it kills me.
Take that boulder down, soldier.
Yeah. Fun. Okay, they just suck. So let's just admit there's nothing cool about them. They're just supposed to, I guess, they're supposed to have strength in numbers.
And they're a symbol.
Yeah. Okay, so we have this whole back and forth. We scare off enough of the stormtroopers, they go away. Our RIP Razor Crest. See you later. We hardly knew you. But then we have Boba Fett wants to go up and just check out. Like, what's going on up there? Who shot this down? What is this going on? And he goes, oh my God, it's the Empire. What was your first clue? Maybe the stormtroopers?
The Empire's back, guys.
I will not understand, and I think I've heard some people try to explain this, but like, why would you see a group of stormtroopers and then be more surprised that they came from a cruiser?
Yeah, they're not just out doing these rogue missions.
I think it's funny that they still call themselves the Empire. They're
Yeah.
not. What,
Or at
what-
least,
do they have They don't have an empire. They
well,
don't.
so one thing they mention, and they make a point of this, of saying like, well, they're not supposed to be in the outer rim, right? It's like, well, if they're an empire that tries to take over power, can't they just go wherever they want? And one thing, and I think maybe we'll learn a little bit more of this, possibly from the Mando, but this stuff was in like kind of the lead up to the Force Awakens. But apparently there was a truce called where the Empire had to go to the unknown regions and couldn't come out. Because that might be like, oh, the Empire, they're back. Does that just mean, hey, they came back and they're in places they're not supposed to be, so they're like back to their old ways? That's the only thing I could think.
No, I think they're really just amazed they're back.
But why is the cruiser more amazing than just stormtroopers coming out?
Lazy writing, man. It's like, oh, we see this big ship. Now we say something about it. Like, guys, I'm so out on this season of this show. I
Really?
And I like things so much usually, and there's just barely anything enjoyable about this at this point for me.
Wow.
I thought this was a great episode. As down as I was about it, you can't be surprised by poor use of stormtroopers. You just can't. But
It's not just the poor use of stormtroopers. It's all right, the dark troopers are there to get the child. We're going to keep cutting back to Mando running up the hill, but we're never going to show how close he is to the top to create any sense of suspense. For all we know, he's like 400 meters away because they never pan up. Like, just things like that, where it's like, it would be so easy to make this decent, and you're not. I don't mean to be negative. I hate when people hate on things, but like,
yeah.
I think this could be so much better than it is.
I mean, these are valid writing things. This isn't just like, oh, this is too fan servicey, because obviously this is a fan service episode, much like the one before it. But this one's a little bit different, right? Because this is a original trilogy member coming back, and there's a point to it because he actually has the armor. So he's been tracking it down because he wants the armor back. And honestly, people are saying it's a soft pilot for a Boba Fett show.
Stop doing that. Stop setting up more stuff and just give us a good show.
Yeah, I'm sick of
I was
that.
really happy to see Boba Fett, though.
I'm happy to see him in too, but if he's gonna just be in there, I don't think he is there just to be set up for another show. If he is, I don't care as long as it's contributing to the actual story, which it seemed to. I mean, they did bring up the armor earlier, and he is a Mandalorian, so I feel like it makes sense for him to be in the show, because I was a lot more critical of Ahsoka being in the last episode than I am about Boba Fett being in this one.
So it's a little bit more for the casual fans, but still happy to see Boba back in his prime. And it's almost like the redemption of Boba Fett, because again, in our episode on Boba Fett from 6 years ago, go check it out. we're pretty anti-Boba because he sucks. If you just only look at canon, if you only look at the films, he happens to get Han Solo because he has the cooperation of the full Empire and its chief operating officer of Darth Vader, but then accidentally falls in a Sarlacc because somebody hit him too hard with a stick. So this could be, this is badass Boba Fett for the first time. We're seeing him even as an older man kick ass. Hey, maybe this redeems Boba Fett for me. I don't know.
I think it could.
Eh.
I thought it was cool. I mean, it was fun watching him, and man, he was pissed at those stormtroopers. Like he was.
Sure
mad.
It was one of the better fight scenes for sure.
Yeah, there was lots of good action in this one. But yeah, they're really bad, man. You just have a nice sharp stick and you can take down 20, 30 of them.
Well, and also I was confused because it seemed like there was just an endless supply of them, but those transports weren't that big.
Yeah, and there was like a second wave that came out of one. They waited like 5 minutes and they're like, all right, guys, now we go.
And then classic fight formations where let's run so we can get to be 5 feet from the person we're going after before we start shooting at them.
Yeah.
Like, why am I not shooting while I'm running at him?
Also, now there are mortars in Star Wars. I think is that our first appearance of mortars?
What, the bomb that Boba Fett threw?
No, the stormtroopers set up mortars.
Good point.
Just putting it out there.
You are just putting it out there. Okay, so sounds like, to wrap this up, sounds like Alex, you're bringing it in cold still.
Yep.
What about you, Chris?
I'm bringing it in warm for sure. This is like, to me, the mainline story. It's about the child. It's about protecting the child, and that's like the main goal of the Din Djarin. And I think that's cool. I'm excited to see like what he will do to try to protect it. I'm surprised we didn't talk at all about what happened up there on the mountain and with the whole space internet going on.
Fortunately, it was the least interesting part of the episode.
The Force internet thing that he was trying to do. He was
Force
trying to
internet.
connect to the land.
And it made him sleepy.
Yeah.
I'm going on a raid. Don't break my 2-1 line.
Mando's too stupid to realize that when he couldn't reach through it the first time, he probably wasn't going to be able to the next 5 times he tried.
It makes him look sympathetic.
No,
These are beautiful.
It makes him
himbo.
look like a dumbass.
Shows how much he cares, though.
Din Djarin's our big beautiful himbo. He cares just too much.
But who do you guys think Who do you guys think was on the other line?
Oh God, please! I don't want it to be somebody we know.
It is, of course. It's Rey.
Rey might be a baby right now.
Grogu.
And she's ready. They're both babies, and they're in love.
No, I mean the worst answer of all is, Luke's gonna come, and it's gonna be Sebastian Stan. Like I think I saw some fan mock-ups of Sebastian Stan as a 1995 era Mark Hamill.
Wait. When is this supposed to happen again, guys? Can you like timeline
This
wise?
is 9 years after. Is it 9 years or 4 years? Oh God,
Doesn't
okay,
matter.
we have
It's
to be
all the
correct.
same.
Yeah, I think I want to say it's 9 years after the destruction of the first Death Star.
Okay. I think they're gonna. I don't know. I guess people are probably gonna speculate that it's Ezra.
While we're winding down this episode, can I ask a question about the first Death Star?
You may.
Why was there a trash compactor? It's in space. There's plenty of room for trash. You don't have to compact it.
Well,
So you can fall
maybe
in
they
it.
recycle it.
No, they don't. They were compacting the trash.
They want it to be carbon neutral, so I think that was the main reason.
I'm skeptical. I think that was written in just for our heroes to fall in.
We have to go back and reevaluate the entire first trilogy.
Yes, from the lens that I'm viewing The Mandalorian through.
See,
Yeah, this is 5
there's
years
so much
after
fan
the Battle of
service
Endor.
and all those. God, they're just setting stuff up all the time.
You can tell that clearly this is just a precursor to Padme.
So this is 9 ABY. The Battle of Endor was 4 ABY. So we are looking at, so this is 5 years from 1983. So we got 19, we're like 1988 era of our heroes. So this would be whatever Mark Hamill looked like in 1988. We need to get somebody who looks like that. And that's who's going to show up on screen.
They are not going to bring in a Skywalker into this franchise.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, they are not going to do that. They are not dumb enough to do that, I don't think.
They're definitely dumb enough.
Even as dumb as they are, Al, I don't think they're dumb enough to bring in a Skywalker into the series. Why ruin it? That's how you ruin Star Wars right now, is you bring in a Skywalker.
Yeah, just wait and see. Just wait and see. But as always, follow us on social media. We love you. Nick, do the rest of that.
Well, you guess you don't love our fans that much to finish that thought.
I think you're better at it. No one likes me. They like you.
Well, yeah, check out our Patreon. Chris has got some things in the works. We have really great cutting edge content here at what is the name of our show again? Oh yeah, Loose Cannon. And we're gonna have some full length topics for you pretty soon, so I can get Al back into Star Wars, because I feel him straying from the Force a little bit. So we got to get him pulled back in with some content that's interesting and not problematic.
Yeah.
But yeah, follow us at Star Wars LC on both Instagram and Twitter. We're on Facebook as Star Wars Loose Cannon as well. But hey, give us your thoughts and your opinions about this season that seems to be less divisive to the rest of the world, but pretty divisive on our show.
Give us your thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers only, please. Thoughts and prayers.
All right, see you guys all
Anything
next
else,
time.
Chris?
No, I just want to end with some negativity.
You want to end with negativity?
No, let's make Al happy again, guys. Next.
Okay, what makes Al happy?
Christmas. We're gonna have a Star Wars Christmas special before the end of the month, and that's how we're gonna get Al happy.
We're gonna be overserved. We're gonna overserve ourselves and talk about Star Wars. How's that?
I like that. All right.
Please don't quit, Al.
Bye.
Bye.